Welcome to Doing Philosophy, where we learn to philosophize about the big ideas. Our topic, love again. We're trying to deep dive in this area of love, doing real-time analysis on something that's not supposed to be controversial. But as I've been digging and digging, it's very controversial. Maybe not in the halls of philosophy, but elsewhere it is. Our topic today is lusting, desiring, and loving. I want to draw a distinction between this concept of love, desire, and lust. It was already requested from one of our channel followers. So, and if you have questions, please put in the comments and I'll respond to them when I can. So what is lust, what is desire, and what is love? We need to separate it a little bit if we're going to get a deeper understanding of love. And that's what I'm going to go for right now. It's not difficult to define. We need to put it in perspective, basically. Lust is generally understood as a strong or excessive desire, underlying excessive desire for a thing, a situation, a person. The way it is broadly described, it can apply to any parts of our life because we desire things from every aspect of life. In food, someone can desire to eat excessively. Now, when we apply this concept to food, we call it gluttony. Anyone who likes to eat too much excessively, we call it a glut. And what does that mean, excessive? In that area, it could mean you eat too much in terms that you would gain excessive weight and can't control yourself, or you eat the wrong food, like you're eating only junk food. That's also gluttonous. No health food, that's gluttony. Another area we will find lust is an area of making money. We need money to survive, but some of us are putting excessive amount of time and energy to make it. When that happens, we call that greed. To be greedy is to engage in excessive desire for money or wealth. Now, it's difficult individually to see how that plays out in someone's psychology because it's a psychological motive, but we can understand it in the corporate system. If a business person underpays his or her employee so that they can have a higher profit margin at the end of the month or end of the year, that's greed. They take the same product, leave the same price, but develop with cheaper material, that's greed. We can understand the use of greed in those environments because we understand excessive. You're taking advantage of someone just to make more money. That's greed. So when you say lust and it's excessive, the question is, how is it excessive? That's a little defining. Another thing about the word lust is that it has gradually come to apply primarily to sexual relations or loving relationship. Love and lust, kind of people put them in the same basket, more or less, and then try to figure out which is which. And can you love excessively? Oh, can you desire? Do you desire love? Do you desire to be loved? That's something I like. Do you desire? Do we desire? I guess we can desire to love. Can it be excessive? That's difficult. But in terms of sexuality, lust is clearly defined. You may desire sexual pleasure, and it can become excessive. The word lust applies today more rarely to that, and part of that reason is because of its historical rise. In Catholic religion, for example, lust is clearly defined and clearly seen as one of the 7 deadly sins. What you may not understand is how far it goes in that area, right? So literally, if you are in the Catholic system, if you are desiring to have sex with your wife for pleasure and not to have a child, that's called fornication. And that is a sin. That is excessive lust. Now, because you have that framework, that structure of that religion, that's one way to define excessive. Remember, we're philosophers. We want to know how you define that word excessive. So if you're going to be a Catholic, this is the rules. Having sex for your wife without the intention of having a child is excessive. It's fornication, therefore it's wrong. Also, in that same system, if you have sex outside of marriage, that's fornication. That is also lust. That means here they gave you the rules when you can actually have sex and you couldn't abide by them. That's lust. In the secular society, we have certain rules, really in bad situations. Look at the extreme version that quickly understand. When you rape someone, you're forcefully having sex with them. That is an application of lust. Here's the social structure. You can have sexual interaction with people, but if you force yourself upon them, then that's rape. Okay? And that is also a manifestation of lust. You can't control the desire, right? You can't go through a regular routine of dating and then having the possibility of having intimate relation. That's lust. Also we see it also in the terms of age. 18 is the legal age where people can engage in intimate relation, like having sexual activities. Well, if you have interaction with a minor, that's illegal. Why? Because you can't control your desire for sex. That means you're lusty, okay? I'm using these extreme examples so you could see what excessive means, because in the delicate area of love, it's kind of more challenging. But in the extreme version, you can see what the social order means by lust. And it's clear. I understand, I accept. I don't have any challenge with that. When you're in a marriage and you're relating with each other and you desire to have an intimate connection with your wife or your husband, that's not really lust. There may be some sense where you can find that lust, you have interaction with your significant other, and then 10 minutes you want more, and 10 minutes you want more, and then you want more, you want more, you want more. That could be seen as excessive. The guy can only do so much, the woman can only take so much. So there's a sense in which it is relative. That is, and the expectation is that you can control the desire. You can delay the desire and fulfill that desire another day, another time. Why you have to have it now? Like the rapist, why you have to have it now? Then you can't control yourself. So we see lust in that particular way. So hopefully you get a sense of that. Now, I said it's excessive desire, and desire itself, what is desire? Desire is a type of emotion, and it's very hard to place because desire is so pervasive. It is pervasive. So it's not an ordinary emotion, but it is an emotion that describes a type of longing we have. Unlike regular emotion, there's a sense, desire is a type of feeling. So when you have an emotion, it stands and it lasts for a certain period of time, you just change the content of the emotion. A desire is something that comes and goes. When you fulfill the desire is satisfied, and it's over. Desire vanishes. When we say lust, we're using excessive. When you have your wife, you have the woman in your dreams, and everything you want is right there, but you're not satisfied. You go outside the marriage, okay? That's lust driving you. You see? The question is why? Why, when your desire had been fulfilled, okay, you're going outside? That's because you had other desires. You wanted that woman, but you also had other desire for other women you hadn't been looking at closely. That's what I would say philosophically, because the desire can be very unique. I want that one for my wife, but I also want that one and that one for my girlfriends. The desire can be very specific. So when you're designing, you want a particular object, a particular person, and desire is very, very important for our society. For example, every marketing, commercials, but on air, on the radio, bulletin boards, what do? They're not just informing you, and I taught a class on this, they're not informing you about material that's available in the marketplace. They're trying to invoke you to have a desire. They create a need, whether it's there or not, and then they suggest that you fulfill that need by buying their products. So these marketers are expert at invoking desires in the people by associating their product with someone who's famous, or by creating a need. You didn't even know you need a motorcycle to look cool for the girls until you saw that commercial for Kawasaki. Okay? So if you think of it in that sense, our world requires you to be a desiring person, because the whole of society needs you to buy clothes and cars and all kind of things. You need things. I need you to want knowledge about having good relationships and want to do philosophy so that you can come and look at my channel here, right? So if you think about desire on that level, it is global. It's super amazing. I mean, super necessary. And in philosophy, philosophers always had a little problem with desires, beginning with Socrates. And they really thought if you can't control your desire, you really can't focus on pursuing the ideal. You can't pursue the absolute truth. You can't do really philosophy. You can't control your ideas. There's always been a running theme. That's a problem in philosophy, that you got to control, suppress, or do something with the desires, or you won't be able to focus on the main ideas. I want to mention desires in one big way as well. In religion. In Christianity is neutral. Desire is not good or bad. It's just how you channel the desires, which is reasonable. In Buddhism, I need to mention this one. Buddhism fundamentally teaches that we are suffering. All is suffering. Whatever's good now is going to turn bad. And so give up the good so that you don't have the bad, right? For the Buddhists, they believe that the fundamental cause of all our suffering, let me repeat, all our suffering, desire. Desire is the cause of all our suffering. Does that sound, don't you think that's, we want this, we can't get it, we get upset, we get it's not enough, on and on. They think that's the human condition is caused by desire. So it may be caused by excessive desire. But in the end, they have a little debate amongst themselves as well. Excessive desire is out, but all desires, all right, are out ultimately. And in the beginning stage, you're going to manage your desires. But just think about that for a second. The foundation of all our suffering happens to be desires. So although I want to talk about desires, look how pervasive they are. They define our entire economic world. They define how we get up and do things in the world. And we just want to compare a little desire to love, you know what I mean? Because it's always closely related. I want this person. I can't have that person. You know what I mean? I love her. She doesn't love me. Right? But see the force of love. That's what I want you to see, the force, not the force of love, the force of desire. Extremely powerful. But it is different. You got to admit, desire is very, very different, right? So now we bring in love. And this is the main thing we're going to be talking about. I mean, that's the research is in love. But love is a different type of emotion from desire and its excessive lust. Love is an emotion that involves affection, caring. Some people say tenderness. It's a certain type of emotion that we have towards a particular object or particular person. And there is a distinction that people ask about. Do you love the person or are you lusting after the person? I like to say love is love. That's a political statement. Some people say, I'm repeating the same thing. Love is love. You are in love or you're not in love. You love someone or you don't love someone. That's it. End of it. Okay? Desire is something else. I might desire you, but I might not love you. I may desire because you look good. And when I go out to my corporate meetings, you're going to be there with me and I'm going to look good because you're there. So I desire you for your social presence. I might desire because you have a lot of money and I don't have a lot of money and I'm not going to take your money directly, but since you have money, it's going to help me out in my situation. I might desire because you're a great sexual partner. I can desire for many, many reasons and not love you. Love is love. Now, I may love you and not desire you. Now, this is a weird combination and people go through that. They struggle. I struggle through that too. You love the person, but they have certain character or personality traits you can't live with. Oh my gosh, you can't. Or you love the person, they're so financially irresponsible, you go broke with them. You love them, but you don't want to, you are repulsed by that kind of person, right? I love her, but no, I'll be broke. Love is love. And you can have different desires. What you would like to have, you love the person and you desire that part to be with that person. and you desire to be with you desire that person have the particular qualities, but desire comes and goes. Okay, and so they're slightly different. Like you may love the person. Let's say you're in a marriage, you love the person, but sexually, you may not find their sexual activities to be very fulfilling. They're undesirable in that way. That's not a good thing. But love and sexuality is somewhat different. You love the person, you like to also desire or want to have sex with them on a regular basis because it's exciting, it's different. As you go through your entire marriage, things work really, really well. And this is the complication that's involved. And I had to bring this to the table because also we need to look at lust. When someone's looking at you and looking at you because they see you as a good sexual partner, doesn't actually mean they love you. Doesn't mean they don't love you, and it doesn't mean they won't fall in love with you after they get involved with you. But we are driven by emotions in different kind of ways, and some of these emotions overlap with one another, and we have to understand that you can't, draw the line quickly. Oh, it's this is this and this is that. It's just lusting after me. You can't, because the person loves you and you want to have a long-term intimate relationship with them, but you're sexually incompatible. They might love you and you love them, but you shouldn't be together because you're physically incompatible in the intimate level. Love, they say, is enough. No, I don't think so. I disagree with that. Right? I think you need to learn to love people, and if they're incompatible with you, then you have to let it go because they're undesirable if they're incompatible in those big, big ways. And which means I'm going to promote a polyamorous kind of approach eventually with love. Learn to love many people. So I can love many women, and these women are they're intimate, that we can share ideas and things like that, but I am not sexually, physically intimate with them. I may have my one girl, that's my woman there, and the other woman I love too, but they're friends, platonic friends. We don't go there. But I say love because I have an emotional connection with them. They're like my sisters, or my buddies, but they're female, like they're sisters. So you can have a strong feeling for them, but then you control it, and that's where lust and desire is going to come in. If you can love like that, yes, you can have female friends like that because you can control your desire for sexual interaction, and you don't have it with those people. You have it with your who you are, you call your date right now. It's very complicated. It's not easy, but I think if you have the conversation and you get to see the differences, all right, you get to see the differences in the various feelings there, emotion that's going on there, you're going to be able to make better sense of love, and also why some relationships don't work. Or you see, I talked to couples and they've been together 35, 40 years, and you could tell they're not happy, but they stay with each other for the convenience because the other person is the good friend. The romance is gone, but they're still good friends, and I applaud that as well. Right? Why can't you stay with a companion? Why it has to be more, especially when you get at more advanced in age? Some of that dies out for you, for many people. So that's all I have to say today on the topic of lust, desire, and love. I hope you gain a deeper understanding of love. And if you like what I'm saying, please click the like button. And above all else, join my channel. Click subscribe. I think on this one is click my image. It's somewhere, I think it's over there. All right. Until next time, bye.